Seattle, home of the Sky Needle and, of course, the KeyArena, which we are getting ever closer to having players emerge. It is our third day here of the groups for the International 7, and I am your host, Machine. It's my great pleasure to introduce not myself, but also our panelists who are going to be hopefully setting the scene as we work out who will be eliminated. That's right, 2 teams will be eliminated before they even get to the KeyArena and will be probably locked in their hotel rooms thinking about their decisions they've made. Some teams are already looking pretty bad, some looking fantastic. And to hopefully explain it, I have PyCat, who is absolutely terrified that he's going to go ahead and flash us his nipple throughout this entire introduction segment. What's happened to this shirt?
My shirt's, it's a little bit, you know, maybe I've gotten a bit of, you know.
Oh, is that what's happened?
Too many beers, maybe.
Yeah.
Might be.
Or you're just really excited for the Dota.
That could be it.
Yeah. Now, alongside him, of course, we have Blitz as well. Taking a break from his coaching duties and flying out last minute due to a variety of unfortunate circumstances, but we do get to have you here, Will, and it's great to hear your insight, both in the casting and on the couch. You're glad to be making another TI?
Yeah, but I like how you say a break, as if it was my choice that I was an TI as a coach.
Hey, that sounds nice. I like it.
It's voluntary.
You're taking a coaching holiday. Yeah, away from one planet odd to another. And this is pretty odd to have to go ahead and work with me. Quinn, we've bonded over the last 3 days, and I think you're starting to really get into the whole TI7 hype train. You know, like day 3 is when like these games are really going to start mattering.
Yeah, you know, all the games matter, but whenever, you know, it starts getting day 3, day 4, you can see the games, like, you know, how they matter. You see some of these hard matchups that the teams haven't played, you know, like LFY. It's 10-0. They are looking really good, but they haven't played some of the stronger teams. They haven't played Newbie. They haven't played OG. And you see them play these teams, and you can start to see like their real strength, or you know.
Yeah. And what is the word on the street? You know, who are teams talking about saying that they are really good? I think you were talking about, was it Newbie that a lot of people heads are being turned by?
Yeah, I think Newbie is a team that's not being talked about much, but I think is very strong right now. And I think, you know, just all the standard teams that people are, you know, looking out for. But I think Newbie has looked just as strong as I think the top 6 of, you know, OG, EG, VP, the LGDs.
Fantastic. Well, we'll talk more about that. But first, in terms of talking, you guys can get in contact with us and also just get involved with each other to kick off our day. Of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Do be sure to hit us up over on Twitter. It's at Dota2 with the hashtag TI7. Outside of that, on the Facebooks, you can use /Dota2. And if you're on Instagram as well, pouting with some foundation, Dota2 TI is where you can go ahead and find us as well. If you're watching as well, there's 2 platforms we're currently going to be waving our faces on. It's going to be not only Twitch, but also over on YouTube as well, just Dota2 on YouTube, and just add TI to the end of it for Twitch. And that is how you guys are going to be joining us as we continue this expedition into competitive Dota, and I'm so glad we have you guys to hang out with us. Now, you've touched on the standings, but PyCat, I want you to hear your kind of thoughts about that. Like day 2, we can't get too hung up on the 10 and 0s,
no,
the 0 and 5s, well, the 1 and 5, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, like Quinn said, Newbie is looking quite strong. Like one of the games that they lost was when they had this random alchemist.
Yeah.
And
can we elaborate on that? There's probably someone saying, what, random alchemist TI? Nah.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck? Like, could you imagine you go to TI and then you like either you don't go first place or you don't get into upper bracket because you random the hero. How do you feel about that?
That's some pretty depressing territory.
That would be seriously depressing.
You planned like the entire year, you made it in, you're up a game against OG, and then all of a sudden that happens.
So can you give us a little bit of insight of how that happens, like from a communication standpoint, right?
Oh, probably just, they were probably thinking about it at the last second.
Yeah.
Nobody had any concrete ideas. Whoever was drafting was probably like, okay, it's this or this. And I mean, it happens, especially in scrims.
Yeah.
You know, you're just talking.
Yeah, because you need like, it could be like you're talking about a couple of different options, right?
Sure.
And like you have some options and then you're like, oh shit, we have 20 seconds left. And then, whoa, what the fuck? What do we do? And then you're like, you're going to pick a hero and then it's, nope, you random alchemist.
It happens in scrims pretty frequently where, you know, you're thinking about a hero or something and then, you know, it just randoms and you're like, you know, just go remake and then you pick the hero that you wanted or whatever, but you don't get to do that in matches. No. You're stuck with an alchemist.
So does it cool down to not only, you know, taking a while to make a decision? Is there any credit given to the other team for making your decision difficult? You know, like the discussions. Yeah, the fact that you're even having a discussion is because you know there is options available to you, and you're not quite sure where to take it.
Yeah, it could definitely be. I mean, if the enemy bans out something that you were planning,
Sure.
or if multiple of your options are getting
like a
removed,
check in
then
chess.
yeah, exactly. You're like, well, what do we do now? That was our, maybe they banned 2 heroes that you were gonna take, and you're like, well, one was our hero and the other one was our backup, and then you're
Right.
like, well, all right, now we gotta think a bit, and
just-
hopefully not too long.
And we will bring up the standings, and I want to come back and pull on this thread just after we do, because I think it's very interesting about who in your guys' minds as players is the most proficient in the draft, and that is, I mean, it's a big part of Dota. We'll come back to it though quickly. I want to summon those standings so you guys can see, and they have been behind us. But just to quickly recap where we're at right now, you can see that 10 and 0 we keep referring to is that of LFY, and just beneath them you can see Newbie looking very scary as well. The Chinese region have come in swinging so far, and I think. I think my eyes are drawn, especially in Group B. Will, correct me if I'm wrong, but VPOG, 4 losses under their belt.
Yeah, and they've had quite a difficult group just because nobody really expected LFY to be as good as they are. I was talking with some people last night, some of the pros and PvD, and they were just saying LFY is legit. LGD, maybe False Kings. Maybe we crowned them a little bit too soon after day 1. They looked a little bit shaky, but LFY has just been, they've looked unstoppable at this point in this group.
Maybe it's not actually a crown; it's like a Burger King crown that they got with their Happy Meal.
Did LGD did they go 1 and 3 yesterday? Was it? Were they 6 and 0 after their first
yeah,
day? Was
they
that
were 6
LFY? Yeah, they were,
Yes,
right?
they were.
And now they're
Yeah,
7-3.
And LFY were actually 4-0.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they went 6-0 in that kind of group
Damn.
with that kind of competition. And they did not just look good, they starched people. That series against VP, who has beaten VP in 15 minutes? You can't claim anything. In the past, you're like, maybe VP's not trying at the summit, they're messing around. This is TI. They got beaten 15 straight minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
And I think, what is the biggest alarm bell in Group B? It is behind you in case you want to kind of refresh your memory. Is it VP having a little bit of a turbulent time? Do we look lower down in the standings, Pycat? Were you expecting more from, I know you're a close friend of Saxa. What do you think his coaching was going to get, HR any further? Planet Dog?
I think it's really hard to... I mean, HR is one of those teams, right? They're not expected to do that well.
Sure.
I figure maybe he could do something, but I do think that the Group B, it looks pretty much, the top of the group is kind of where you'd expect it to be. I guess the one big surprise is like LFY doing that well. You could throw those teams around a little bit. Maybe like Newbie VP, and OG could be somewhere in the top 3, and then you'd expect LFY to be a little bit further down. But I feel like it's going pretty much according to expectations, I guess.
Okay, so expectations met on Group B, maybe a couple of bumps on the way. But Quinn, I know you've got your eyes on Group A as well. Now, when we spoke at the very start of like day 1, the discussion was like, you didn't quite understand the distribution of the invited teams. Only 2 of them featured in towards Group A, if I'm not mistaken. What do you make of it now? Now you see that Liquid's paving the way, the False Kings, as Blitz has quite eloquently described LGD. What do you make of it all?
I think the whole Group A only getting 2 invited teams comes down to LGD being valued pretty highly.
Okay.
Just as a team, I think a lot of people thought they were very strong coming in. Sort of like we said, maybe False Kings, maybe a little bit better or a little bit worse than people thought they were coming into it. I also think Secret was maybe valued pretty highly. TNC, they have a lot of these mid-range dark horse teams that you aren't really sure how they could perform. And I think Secret has, underperformed a little bit. TNC maybe overperformed, looking pretty good in a lot of their matches. Would be 6-2 if it wasn't for that, the little bit of a throw at the end of the game versus Secret. So I think it sort of comes down to having a couple of, really, really high tier teams, maybe a little bit of an overrated team in LGD, and then some like mid-range teams as compared to just a lot of Titans and then maybe some weak teams in Group B.
Interesting. And we'll get to see them, of course, do battle once again. If you haven't been with us for the past 2 days, you have missed quite the roller coaster for some of these teams. That TNC throw, I know we don't have the replay handy, but you can quickly explain. Like 6-2 would have been a very juicy scoreline to have got to. 15-9 minutes into the game, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, just a couple of maybe wasted buybacks, trying to end the game a little bit too fast, overambitious, and then suddenly your base is just dead because you have no buybacks on anyone. They would have had, same loss score as Liquid, which puts them in a really good position.
But the thing is about TNC though is like, shouldn't we start expecting them to do pretty well? Like, I mean, looking at last year's TI, they knocked out OG. I feel like they always kind of show up at these
big events, yeah.
At these bigger events, they've started to show up a lot of them, right?
No, they're incredibly good.
Yeah. So, and if like we said, if they had won that game, they would have been 6-2. That would have been like same as Newbie. These guys are, I mean, especially I would say like Raven. That guy, he's a pretty much standout player. And also I think it seems like Theben 1-4-3-7 has helped them a lot.
I think having the three core players stick together over the course of, an entire year, it was the same three core players at last TI, and now they're still together. You definitely build like a firm understanding of the game. You sort of share like what heroes you think are good, how you like to play the game, and then you have a captain come in like 1-4-3-7, and it's sort of like it all just pulls it all together. You have someone that can lead as well as having, core players that are very used to each other's play style.
And I mean, how much do you think that can contribute to a victory, understanding one another's play style? Do you think, Pycat? Do you think that is something that really, truly can be the the difference between a good and a great team?
I definitely do think so. I think it's really important for cores they need to not just understand each other, but they also need to they need to work together, because some cores, they don't work that well. Sometimes you have cores that make too much space. You need that one guy who kind of soaks up the space, and you usually need 2 or 1.5 players who make the space in combination with your support players. So you need a good mixture, you need a good balance between these cores who kind of create space and who take up the space. Because if you have too much, well, then you have no room. Then everyone's just farming and you're dying. And if you have people who make too much space, well, then you have no one to kind of utilize all that space that you're making, and no one to kind of take you further into this game and actually win you the game.
There have been some highs and lows for sure of kind of teams that have more of a friendship element than others. And actually, highs and lows is where I want to take this. It's early in the morning here in Seattle. The KeyArena and the main event hall is starting to really take shape, right? Like this is,
Starting to look good.
I'm starting to get very excited for what's going to happen into the main event. You guys at home should too. But I mean, just talking kind of, highlights, lowlights, while we have you and while we have time, what's like, for all of you, and I'll let you start thinking, what is your greatest moment in Dota 2 for you? You could have been playing, you could have been watching, you could have been coaching, whatever it is. Does anyone have something that immediately springs to mind?
EG home, game 1.
That cast?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I was like, eHome has got this. This game is pretty much unlosable.
Yeah.
Obviously, a little bit of bias in that cast because EG,
Sure.
watching them do something amazing like that was incredible. And the fact that they came back from that sort of deficit. I mean, my favorite story is one of the players on that team told me that after they got mega creeped, they actually wanted to call it. They didn't want to see the game through at all. They were just like, the game's done.
They actually had
Yeah,
that
they're like,
conversation.
it was one of those things where, because if you invest so heavily into a game emotionally and you lose,
Oh, yeah.
you're just, if you looked at eHome's faces after they lost that game, they weren't in it anymore.
They GG'd.
They were just like,
Are you-
that tournament run was over.
Are you unable to tell us who that was?
I don't know if I should, but
Yeah.
they were just done.
Oof.
Like eHome, they lost 3 straight games after looking near invincible. They had
Yeah.
so many good ideas about the game.
They did.
So that could probably be a really fantastic example of, how emotions can affect Dota. We always talk about it being an emotional game. I think eHome could be one of those great ones we put under the Petri dish as an example of just how destroyed you can get from a bad loss. So were you casting that like it was over? Did you find yourself kind of like describe, like, I mean, EG eHome, to be fair, a lot of people thought that game was over.
There was this point where in the game where I was just kind of like, oh man, this was such a great game.
Yeah.
Like, it got to mega creeps, EG, it was a good run. Like, you guys
You
said,
start wrapping it up.
hang your
kind of
heads
thing.
high. Like, there's no shame in that loss. It's all
Yeah.
good. And then they had two heroes, no buyback. There's like 3 support heroes left. There's like Sumail, and I was like, okay, they have no buybacks. Like, all right,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do for the next cap? How do we top this? Like, and then that happens. It's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah. What about you, Quinn? I mean, you've taken it Dota by storm as of late. Now you're sitting on a couch. You've been climbing those MMR. What do you reckon is your highlight from your time in Dota?
Probably either beating NP in the group stage in this qualifier. It's like whenever you beat a team that you're not expected to beat, and like everybody's like really excited. You're like doing well throughout the game, or
Yeah.
it's like a comeback, a close game. It's like super exciting whenever you win. Like everybody just loses it and stuff. Probably that's or killing Miracle at the soul killing him at the summit. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Killing Miracle is always going to be an achievement. Pycat, we haven't heard yours.
Well, I think when I was coaching, I think it was definitely beating EG in the winner bracket final, loser bracket finals at TI last year. I think it was really fun. It was like everyone was really, really excited about that match. Everyone was really looking forward to play EG, and it was kind of, I don't know. It just felt like, for us, it really felt like a win. You know,
Yeah.
it felt really good to,
I bet.
and that was definitely fun. They were also, you know, the returning champions, and you know, a lot of people expected them to kind of win or maybe, you know, so that felt really good. Aside from that, I also liked there's this one time at the ESL Frankfurt when I played Axe mid, and I got ganked by 3 people, and then it was against IG, I think, and I just managed to turn it around and get first blood and a double kill. And then it was really fun. And then I stood up and I pulled out my earphone because I wanted to do this to the crowd because it was really fun.
Sure,
You know, it's
sure.
like you know, you don't get,
So you're standing up.
you don't always get those moments.
Earphones are
So
plugged into the PC.
yeah,
down
and
there.
then I was like, well, and then we had to pause the game. So you know, I got to enjoy that moment a little bit longer than I probably should have, but that was definitely fun.
Yeah. And that is the kind of experience that players at TI are going to be hunting for, even on a more grandiose scale.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
Making a play like that, playing your favorite game that you've dedicated, you know, tens of thousands of hours to over the course of your career, and you get to do something special in front of a crowd like that, and for you guys at home like that, I think that's what everyone that's here is looking for. Not only the trophy, not only the money and the prestige, but like the big play. The big play. I mean, when you kind of think about the biggest players in Dota, are the majority of them at TI?
Yes.
Yeah.
They definitely are. I mean, the $6 million X-Slam,
Yeah.
$1 million Dream Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, he remembers, by the way.
He
What
does.
else? I mean, like, it's not just about plays either. It could be also like, I think everyone remembers this Sumail Storm Spirit being,
Yeah.
he was down. That was that DSC
It was
though? That was
DSC.
DSC though, yeah. But still, everyone remembers that too. The Sumail Storm Spirit being down. What was he? 0-4 or 0-5?
There's a lot of
Remember.
deaths.
And then he turned it around in like 5 minutes, got like twice the amount of kills, stuff like that. I think that's what really. Those are the things that you really remember as a player. Kind of those standout kind of comeback, or some, you know, you get out of a sticky situation, you get out of some, you do something you weren't supposed to do, and you kind of get away with it.
Defy the odds.
Yeah, that's
like
very
it.
fun.
Okay, so I mean, those are the kind of plays we're going to be seeing go down, not only in group stage, but also over into main event. Just 2 days left, and I think, you know, if you start reflecting on teams that have to truly change things around now, what's the realistic comebacks we can get from these standings, guys? I want to see a team rise from the ashes, because it is, a team can be eliminated here. And if you look at the tables as they are now, I want to just make sure I double check this right. Yep, still 1 win under their belt, Fnatic, and 1 win under their belt, Cloud9 Hellraisers. I mean, one of them from either group is going home.
I think Cloud9 is the team that I most expect to make that kind of turnaround, just because this team is skilled.
Yeah.
This team has players that have won majors, that have done well at majors. This is a team that has...
They have a player who has won TI.
Exactly. They have all of these guys that stand out to me. And the fact that they're not putting it together, it's just kind of baffling.
Why do you think that is?
I think I had a talk with Fada about 2 days ago, and it was just... We kind of came to the consensus that at TI, you don't need a lot of ideas. You need a good concept, a few heroes, that's it. You don't need to play a ton of heroes. We were looking at LFY stats, for example, and LFY, they pick their mid-hero, the same 3 heroes, over and over again.
Right.
And you might think to yourself, that's incredibly predictable. Well, look at them. They're 10-0. Consistency at a tournament like this matters. And I don't think Cloud9 have quite found that consistency yet. They don't really know what direction they want to take their team. They're kind of doing a little bit of everything. You can see in their draft and their play, they're not really certain what direction that they want to take. They're just thinking to themselves, does this work?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I asked him, he's like, I don't know if it's a draft or a play problem anymore. Because certain teams could make that work, and maybe we're just bad.
Right.
Yeah. Whenever you lose that many games, like we talked about in the past, you start losing confidence in what you think is good, or your ideas about the game. You don't really know what's good anymore, and you kind of end up just floundering around until maybe you win some game, and you find a light bulb that, oh, it was, this hero was really good or worked really well for our style, or everybody just sort of clicks and starts playing at their best again. It's pretty hard to be in that spot.
How would you change that if you were there?
I think everyone just has to sort of rally around a certain play style or a certain idea. Find a player you want to play around. Get everybody's thoughts on what you think the problem is, and I think you just have to be concise. Have an idea of what you want to do, what you think is wrong, and just commit to doing that thing or fixing that issue.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't have their own ideas about what they think is wrong or what is bad or whatever.
So it's just a question of one, like, are you saying they lack leadership? Is that kind of the TLDR of what we're saying here, Blitz? You furrow your brow there. Perhaps not leadership then.
I don't know if it's
Structure.
It's necessary. Yeah, structure is the best way.
Okay.
For example, at Boston Major, what Bulba introduced to our team on DC was structure. He said, "This is how we're going to draft. This is how we're going to play. This is how we should do things. As long as these conditions are met, we're going to be okay." And it was so helpful to our group. And we kept that kind of mentality up until the end, of course, where we're like, we need this kind of structure. We need this kind of draft structure, especially so that even if things go wrong, we know exactly where it went wrong. We missed this. We missed that. It's like Pycat says, he's like, that's how LGD or LFI draft, right? You need these certain conditions to win the game. You need somebody to hit the tower. You need some amount of stuns.
So a formula almost to put everything into.
Always scan
right
this
now,
section.
I think they lack that. I think because they've lost games that they weren't supposed to lose. I know the OG series was something that looked really one-sided. It's like, do our concepts work? Does our formula work anymore? And you've got to kind of hunker down and say, it's not a big deal. Let's get through this. It was day 1 and day 2. Happens to everybody. There's still a lot of games to play.
Start magnifier.
It's definitely not the end of the road for Cloud9. Just while we're on the topic of draft,
Start
do you wanna
narrator.
add anything to kind of the Cloud9 discussion that they could kind of start to return? They've got 2 days.
Start on
games,
screen
they've got
keyboard.
plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, well, I think
Set up high
something that
contrast.
sometimes happens. I've been through it before. I remember at TI4 when
Start
I
magnifier.
was playing with Fada as well, and we played. I played with Mouse Sports then.
Start narrator.
We did kind of poorly the first like 2 days, I think.
Start on screen
we
keyboard.
went like 1 and 6 or something, and we felt really bad.
Set
And
up
then
high
I think
contrast.
I don't know if we went even 1 and 7, and then at that point something happened. with
Start
us because we were
magnifier.
like, well, backs against the wall. You know, it's like if we lose this game, you know, we're done. And then it's like then you're like,
Start
all right,
narrator.
whatever. You just go for it, and then people sort of start to relax, because they're like.
That sounds counterintuitive.
Start on screen
it
keyboard.
sounds counterintuitive, but it's like, you know, hey, like there's what can we do? You know, we just gotta do our best with what we
Set
got.
up high
And then
contrast.
people you just roll with it, and sometimes it just works out like that.
So almost kind of you thriving under pressure.
Start magnifier.
I think so.
Finally, you
When
kind of
when it
realize.
really gets to you, when it
Yeah.
really gets to you, when your back's actually against the wall, and you're like, then you know,
Start
you
narrator.
know that you can't think of all these options. You just gotta go with like, all right, guys, what do? We just go with this one thing. All right, we done, and then
Start
everyone's like,
on
yeah,
screen
all right,
keyboard.
let's do this. And the thing is, you can't really think. You can't overthink it. You can't go back and we could have done this. We could have done this. You know,
Set
it
up high
doesn't matter, it doesn't help.
contrast.
All you gotta do is you just gotta like Quinn said, it's like you gotta rally around something. You know, anything. And because sometimes playing against playing like around one idea is much better. It's like if you were to punch someone, you know, you punch someone with a finger, or you know, 1, 2. It doesn't matter if you have 5 strong fingers if you go like this. But if you form a fist, even a fist of weaker fingers is still better than doing this, right?
Yeah, goddamn. You need a beard so you can stroke it as you deliver these beautiful nuggets of knowledge. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. But indeed, you're right. Like you doesn't matter how much you.
Yeah, you come at someone like that.
I feel
mean,
like
I'm
there's a better
sure
way we
there's
can-
probably some kind of
You can poke them in
martial
the
art.
eyes, though, for
Yeah,
doing
right.
this.
That's true. That's true. 2 players could
Yeah.
do a lot.
The expression.
That's
I believe-
counterpicking.
Yeah.
That's
right.
counterpicking. I like it. Yeah. The expression is stronger than the sum of their parts, I think. But that's
Yes.
exactly what you can be. And I think that's interesting that, you know, today is sink or swim time for Hellraiser's Fnatic Cloud9. All of them, you either, you know, go down swinging, or it's going to be just a case of watching from the KeyArena stands, because those are your options. 2 teams could be eliminated from the 18-team group stage before we even get to that main event. Now, we were talking about drafting, and I think that's always something that, you know, we're not covering it here on the panel, but in terms of just like where's your mind go when we talk about fantastic drafting, when we talk about winning the game in the draft? Is there a particular team? Is there something, you know, that springs to mind when I ask about that, Blitz?
Probably the easiest example, of course, is going to be LFI.
Yeah.
Like Pycat talked about. Once I started noticing you saying it, we went back, I watched replays. I started noticing there was a theme in their drafting. It's just make it as easy as possible for your players, something that everyone understands. For the mid play, for example, they draft the same heroes over and over again.
Do you know what they were?
Medusa, Death Prophet, they just go to these 2 heroes over and over again, and they're like, let's make this as easy as possible. These are heroes that you're very comfortable with. And maybe when you get to the finals, I started to notice this pattern, like when you're this kind of predictable team, in the finals you're going to have some issues. Like if you remember CDC, even you guys
For sure.
at TI6, maybe you get predictable at the end and the better team will come out on top, but for the most part, it's going to carry you throughout the
Works.
tournament. I would rather get second doing the same thing over and over again than getting busted out in the groups.
So to kind of like long story short, be comfortable. You don't have to take these kind of like these risks in the draft.
Yeah, maybe Liquid with their diversity can win this tournament.
Well, when you talk about this outdrafting, I think there are a few different ways that you can outdraft someone. You know, it can be. So one thing we did TS6 was that we would pick a hero that was generally played as a core role or as a support in our first pick. When we were second pick, we'd take like the 1-2, and then we'd pick some hero, and then in the last pick, because as a second pick team, you have the last pick, and then we'd pick another hero that could go in the same lane, but that was usually played as the other one. So we'd switch the 3 and the 4.
I see.
And when you get that last pick, sometimes some team you just can't deal with that. It's like when you play a lot of heroes without AoE, and then last pick comes Broodmother. You know, what are you gonna do against this Broodmother? You're not gonna do anything. You know, you're gonna lose that game. And there are many ways of outdrafting. I think LFY's way of kind of outdrafting a team is it's a very kind of safe way.
Yeah.
But it's not so much, I think, like a big outdraft in that sense. It's more of they're getting into their comfort zone a lot, and they get what they want, kind of regardless. But Liquid, I would say more so, is a team that outdrafts their opponents. They just pick a lot of these Broodmother, Prophets, and people just can't deal with it. They don't have enough answers. They don't have the tools to deal with those heroes.
So Liquid seem to be the eyes drawn to Liquid, Quinn, as the team that has the diversity to truly win the draft, in air quotes.
Yeah, I think Liquid, their last picks are very on point whenever they have these games where you're sort of racking your brain for what would be a good pick here, and nothing really looks that good, and then suddenly they pick some hero, and you're like, oh wow, that's a good hero. These surprising heroes, you know, the last pick PA, Zeus, for Miracle, these, you know, pretty situational heroes, but they picked them, you know, in the right games, and it ends up like working very well. I think almost more important than like, you know, making an outdraft or things like that is just having a good idea of like how you want to play the game and not getting so wrapped up in specific heroes or, you know, things like that, but having a good idea of your play style. You know, for like LFY, like Blitz said, they stick to a couple heroes, a very, you know, similar play style for all those heroes. DP, Medusa, these 5-man centric heroes, very good at taking towers, and they play a similar style. So it you know, like he said, it sort of keeps it simple, keeps it concise, and everyone's on the same page because they know the style they're playing.
So almost just the answer we've come to over this discussion, with my brain trust, is that you just have to be self-aware. You have to know yourself, know your team. You know, if it comes to the 2 cores, if it comes to the entire unit, if it comes to the draft, it's just being self-aware and understanding where your strengths and weaknesses lie. So basically, just being mature and being good at Dota certainly helps as well. Does that sound like a good way to summarize it, Will?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I mean, I'm just
Self-aware Dota.
Yeah, because I'm looking at my experience, especially with Liquid. It's last year they were a very rigid team in that sense. I mean, if you watch Liquid play, you knew what they were going to pick. They were going to get to the finals every time, but when they dealt with a team that had a little bit more flexibility, like OG, like these secrets that could just play it all, then it became really difficult for that squad. And you're going to see that time and time again, especially at an international. Maybe a team like LFY is in the finals, but it's going to be a team like VP, OG, or Liquid that meets them there.
Because of what they can bring to the draft and bring to the game.
Exactly.
Talking of game, we're actually getting closer. Let's go ahead and remind everyone at home what you have to look forward to across the 4 streams. If you haven't been making the group stage games over the first couple of days, don't panic. Indeed, this is what you have to look forward to. EG Secret, you've got TNC going up against IG, you've got Fnatic Empire, and we talked all about what Fnatic and Empire have to do to keep their head above water, and LGD Infamous as well. I'm sure, Pyket, you will have no problem explaining to me why that fan favorite on Stream 1 is going to be explosive.
I mean, I think it's always been one of those matchups people have just enjoyed. It's it's like 2 big brands, and I think EG Secret, you have all these players that are very known. You have Puppy. I mean, in the past it was Puppy versus like PBD, and you also have now it's MidOne versus Sumail.
Yeah,
these are fun players to watch. They're, you know, they like to bring the action. Those 2 especially, I think, they're explosive players, and Yeah, it's always fun to see those teams match up.
The mid lane, is that where your attention's drawn, CCNC? Especially, as, I mean, a mid player yourself, when you get to see kind of MidOne battle Sumail, trying to overcome the titanic mid laner that is Sumail.
Yeah, I think they're both teams that play around their mid player. The safe lanes, you know, Arteezy playing a more sacrificial role recently, and MP always playing these, you know, not very farmy heroes, static, and the, you know, the space maker on the team. So I think the game generally for both teams is centered around their mid players. I think the TNC IGV game draws my eye even more than that one, just because of, like, they're both sort of these mid-range dark horses. Both teams can make it into the top 4, and it's not really for certain which one will make it there yet.
So this could be quite a very good kind of litmus test of who is going to be the one to
I think so.
overcome the odds. Okay, interesting. So that'll be on stream too. You can go ahead and check that one out. It's very simple. You'll be able to find them all very, very easily and switch between them. Or even multi-twitch, you can watch all 4 at the same time if you're a mastermind. I tried it. It's not as easy as it sounds. But Secret EG, I'm just going to be looking for kind of a yes or a no. Do we have a real split series on our hands here? Is there a chance that we can see Secret stick it against EG? It has to be quick, Pycat. Just give me a yes or a no.
I think EG takes it.
EG takes it nice and easy.
Yeah.
EG, we said there were slow starters on day 1. That was how we summarized it. However, it's not going to be happening this time unless Secret bring the pain. Indeed, let's jump into it. It is 4 games, 4 different streams, and it is our 3rd day here for TI7 groups. Let's jump in, though, here on the main stream as we get to see Secret battle versus the Evil Geniuses.
Secret do seem a little light on the reliable crowd control, though. You know, there's Fissure, there's the Burrow Strike. Meanwhile, you have
Vacuum Torrent Bolt.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's a wombo combo.
if unreliable though. If you hit the combo.
The vacuum wombo combo sounds really good on paper until you realize Kunkka has a lot of like delay between his spells. He X and then he waves the sword bit, the torrent comes out.
Get that Aghanims for the Kunkka, the double vacuum.
Maybe down the line, but the important point to mention is that this is a lot of time for Shaker or Sand King to easily disrupt that kind of chain of spells coming out from Kunkka with the long-range Fissure or long-range Burrow Strike. So that's going to be something that we have to watch out for. Team Secret, if they could get an Aether Lens on Kunkka, I think their team fight will kind of increase in effectiveness, drastically in fact. And we're going to see...
Oh, wow. I basically look at this game, like, going into that last pick, Lumi, there's like 8 melee heroes. Weaver is very short range. Batrider is basically in the middle of the fight. So already Earthshaker and Sand King are amazing. Now you have an Enigma. Like, all of the Secret heroes need to be in the middle of the fight right now. Maybe Kunkka can sit back and throw out nukes, but ideally you want to be running at people with Ion Shells, and that is what Enigma punishes perhaps better than anyone else.
But can we talk about the lanes real fast?
Yes. So let's talk about the lanes.
Is this a mid-shaker, right, from
I guess
Sumail?
it's looking like a mid-shaker, a safe lane, Lycan, I guess?
Yeah, you have Universe on the Batrider, you have Zai on the Enigma.
Is it jungle Enigma then?
Yeah,
I mean, we have seen, I think you try to jungle Batrider one time. Was it at MDL? Yeah, I mean,
it's crit Sand King. It's just
it's
like
a little
all
greedy.
over the place.
The lanes are going to be a little weird for EG, but can Secret punish it is the question.
Ooh, okay.
They want to try. This to me is we see you being a little greedy with your picks. We want to be active, roaming early, running at you quickly, and not letting EG's farm machine kick in.
Well, here's the thing. I think Sumail in particular is going to have a very tough lane now. The last pick of the Clinks is going to dominate Sumail in the mid lane. Normally, when that situation happens, you're like, okay, support's going to rotate and help. But you have a level 1 Sand King, and Universe looks like Batrider is...
It is
or they're swapping it around. Jungle Batrider?
I think so.
Okay. Now that makes the lane a little bit better. Like, you could go into mid lane and napalm him a little bit, but still, I think mid 1 is going to dominate Sumail here.
On paper, I think Secret's draft could completely run over EG because they come online so early, right? As soon as you have a couple points in Ion Shell, Spirit Breaker's like level 2 to 3. He starts running at you with the Darkseer, double Ion Shell. You can at least force these heroes off lanes, cut creeps, maybe kill them. Clinks, as soon as he hits like that level 6-7 area, he can start punishing heroes that are off in the jungle farming. Weaver obviously can apply pressure in the lanes. But I also feel like Secret have to get a lot done in that stage. If this turns into a longer war of attrition, a farm war, if EG are allowed to group up, get their key levels and items, good luck taking team fights against them. Good luck stopping them from taking Roche or a tower.
Yeah, I think you made a critical point where is that Secret has the lineup to go ahead and stay ahead, but they have to do that. Look at how much base defense they have, or rather how little base defense they have. What is the game plan when Lycan is munching your tower on, sieging tier 3? You have a core and a Clinks. Very good offensively taking the tower, but less so interfending.
The game plan is you kill the wolf while he's still a cub. You don't let the wolf grow up.
All right, let's see if that is indeed what Team Secret will do.
So Yapsnor will be TPing out top to start things off as Team Secret look to get their early wards down. Secret, as mentioned, I would say it's they at least need one game this series. I would say that's a must. Ideally, you want to. If they go 1-1 against EG, then ideally they're looking at 2-0s against their last 2 opponents, Liquid and Fnatic, in order to finish with a 9-7 record. Now that's a tall task. So you lose 2-0 here, you're in a lot of trouble. So Secret definitely looking for that first game. Perhaps this could be it, as Puppy will get his wards down. Same already done by EG.
Yep. Now, one thing you touched on towards the end of the draft is that EG does want to go sort of late. With their Enigma last pick, there isn't really a reliable way to cancel the Black Hole. Yes, the Adaptive Strike can go through it, even through the BKB. But like you mentioned...
Adaptive Strike?
Sorry, the... Nether Strike.
It's like, okay.
Adaptive Strike, a very different hero on a different spell.
We just had the time travel hub, and I'm wondering if like there's some glitches in the continuum, and this is actually TI2.
We're playing that mode where you could draft different spells on different heroes. I don't even know what that mode is called. Anyways, my point I was trying to make is that Nether Strike will cancel the Black Hole through BKB, but the problem with that is Spirit Breaker is likely to be in the middle of the fight as the fight begins, right? So I'm not sure how reliable that plan is. for Team Secret.
The lanes will get started here. The last time we saw the Sumail Shaker mid, it was in a melee versus melee matchup. It looked like a last-minute audible when they did that as well, and it completely crossed the lane. But this time, Secret are prepared. They picked the Clinks, so not going to really be as easy for him to just come in and give him the totem.
Crit is going to help him out a little bit. A very interesting starting item here from MidOne, Ring of Basilius. When's the last time you've seen somebody leave the base with the Ring of Basilius in a pro game?
Yeah, normally you complete it in the lane. That's a little unusual.
Oh, you can't complete in this lane, so I guess that explains a lot of that.
Perhaps worried about a courier snipe, so... And Crit starting off in the lane is the Batrider. This is what he did when he was playing the support Batrider previously. I think it was like a month or so ago. He spent a lot of time laning, he was really far behind, and he basically never came online because the rest of the team also had a tough showing early. So we'll see if things recover.
Crit just moving forward, trying to zone MidOne out. Here comes a magic stick for MidOne. So I wonder, seeing the magic stick, whether Crit says, okay, I've done my job. He's got a stick now, so my harass is not going to be too effective. I'll just leave. For now, he's going to napalm inside the trees to not give away the stick charges.
Pretty tough matchup for the Shaker, right? Like, you really, if there's no Batrider here and you've got the threat of that Tord coming in, the Clinks is just peppering you with searing arrows from range, like, you're never getting close to him without help. I
mean, that's why the Bat is here, right? If you look at the CS, like, he's actually leading in terms of CS, 8-3 to the 4-0 of Clinks. So far, the game plan for the laning stage for EG is looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of CS. Of course, their supports are not having the best time, especially Crit, but Sankane's starting to jungle now. Zai did grab the level 1 Sandstorm, and you can see already some stacking happening here for Crit. Runes are about to spawn, and it will be a double damage rune top. Yaphets are going to lay claim to that. So, oh, actually going to let MidOne grab it. So yeah, EG actually doing pretty well here early. Like, for me, the big move that will probably decide the mid game and the course of this match, is, assuming nothing crazy happens in the lane stage, Lumi, is that jungle invasion. Do they get early towers? They are looking for the first blood here. Diving Arteezy, MP pressuring him. Does have the Sccc cooling down, but Zai stands strong and forces them back. Takes over the lane, at least for now, giving Arteezy a chance to salvo.
On paper, I think EG does have that early game push, like you're mentioning. They have Eidolons, they have Wolves. Howl on the Eidolons. That's a lot of burst damage that you can put on buildings. I really like the fact that Puppey is down here. He did not start in this lane. But it is important, because I don't think the Weaver by himself could keep down the Lycan. Lycan sitting at 4 HP regen per second will likely level Pharaoh Impulse up again. I don't think Weaver could actually pierce through that much regen. So it is important for Puppey to walk up here, give him the 17% a little bit, and pressure Arteezy. Because you would love to trade farm as a Lycan here against a Weaver.
Sumail is seeing like a boss. You know, you'd think the Clinks can really harass and slow down the Shaker. Not the case. 20-7 already.
Yeah.
That matchup is not really working out as intended for Secret, especially considering they committed the Kunkka. Meanwhile, Kezu breaking relatively even here against Universus, getting out tonight a bit. But there is not like a clear lane win happening around the map right now for Secret, which again, it makes it more and more about that jungle invasion.
Right.
And that early pressure when EG try to play a little greedier.
And the narrative we had during the draft is that Secret needs to pull a little slightly ahead, right? Because they pick heroes like Clinks to be the cores. We're going to see a charge happening in the mid lane, but likely just a harassing one.
I think EG's very comfortable with the way these lanes are unfolding thus far.
Oh, for sure.
Any adjustments from Secret that you would like to see, Lumi?
I don't think there's any kind of big lane swap that you could do to kind of salvage any lane. I think it's kind of unfortunate how the lanes are going, and they need to just pick up kills with Yapzor as well as Puppey, which unfortunately for them, they are unable to pick up any, because Sand King and Batrider are some of the tougher supports that you could roam on right now.
Oh, that Sandcane just continuing to sandstorm away in the woods while Puppey scouts out Crit. Both supports trying to farm the jungle now. This would ideally be around the time when you want to start striking if your team's Secret, but Clinks is not ready for that yet. He's only level 4. The Weaver, same thing, only level 4. So at best they can probably do is leech. They think about bringing in Yapzor, but he has second thoughts and rotates back towards bottom. So Secret just idly, for now at least, standing by while EG continue to play their greed game.
Sankey making the rotation up top, sneaks past behind some tree line.
Sumail's in a little bit far here. Could be an opportunity charge coming in. Puppey wants to go. He gets the bash. Yapsor's in position, but MidOne didn't like the look of that dive. He backed off. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Zai committing and will find Kezi. That's the first blood.
Yep.
He was farming, but he quickly leaves the lane. And that is the beauty of how EG like to play, is that they seem to balance that greedier farming play with like making just enough moves to apply pressure and relieve some from the lanes for their cores.
It's just really hard to play against this playstyle by EG because their supports are constantly missing off the map. And then as Secret, you're like, okay, are they jungling or are they just ganking me? And, charge happening.
Torrent, and then the follow-up charge. Burrow out. Can he get away? Surging forward, but the Spirit Breaker stunned. Malefice preventing him from getting maximum value out of that surge. Can't even get onto the Sand King in a 3v2. They fall short. Another disappointing outcome for Secret. And oh, more pain. Salt in the wound now as MidOne gets fissure blocked away by Sumail. Snags that prized Taste Rune. Clinks is caught up in CS, so that is some good news for Secret, but still only even with the Earthshaker, not ahead as you would like.
Yeah, and Shaker hitting level 6 is going to be huge, especially with a haste rune. I'm going to look for a Sand King rotation here from Zai. They could easily pop that haste, walk up with the Echo Slam, and then set up a Burrow Strike, and that is a dead Clinks. In fact, I think Clinks probably should start jungling and give the lane to Yapzor, because that gank is extremely, extremely likely.
Puppey's going to make his next move, this time towards bottom. Looking to dive Arteezy. Ideally, you'd love to see that Spirit Breaker moving with the Ion Shell on him, but not going to be happening this time. Arteezy hugging the tower, playing defensively, does get charged, but Zai's already ready to cut this off. Gets the 2-hero burrow, kills off Puppey, punishes him for his insolence. And MidOne has to back away. So they commit both cores to this rotation. They're two beefy carries, and they might lose one of them here. MidOne and Viz, do they have detection?
No, they don't.
Doesn't look like it, but nonetheless, EG wasting a lot of Secret time, coming out on top in these exchanges.
Yep. Having this ward in the river, very common one at this stage of the game, but seeing the charge from Spirit Breaker is the reason why they were able to make that rotation as cleanly as they did.
There are the weak points in EG right now. Secret can't seem to find any. They're going to charge in mid. They look for Sumail, but the Echo interrupts the charge. Get the hell out of here, Puppey, he says. A fairly big cooldown expended, but of course, keeping himself alive means the phase boots can come out, or perhaps they'll just save and go directly into the Blink Dagger.
Likely gonna see in phase first. Yeah, he has it finished. And then most likely we're gonna go into the Blink next. No surprising build whatsoever. Still has a haste rune though.
I wonder if EG look to make a move with that. No smokes currently. And now the charge will be attempted on Universe. And this is the tricky thing for Secret, is Puppey's really got his work cut out for him, Lumi. Like, wherever you charge, there's so many heroes that can interrupt it. Universe can Malefice you, the Sand King can Burrow Strike you, the Earthshaker can Fissure. We saw yesterday the Flame Break did interrupt a charge, so while it doesn't cancel TPs, I guess it still works against charge. There's a lot of ways to disrupt this initiation from Puppey.
I think that really the big problem for Spirit Breaker is that the lanes on its own are not winning. When you have advantage lanes, the lanes by themselves are already putting so much pressure, and then the Spirit Breaker could be so mobile across the map and apply even more pressure at these pressure points. The problem is, Secret are essentially losing all three lanes, and what we saw yesterday when I believe it was, I want to say Execration that picked Spirit Breaker, exact same situation. Spirit Breaker by mid-game just felt like it wasn't even a hero, it was just a big melee creep. Couldn't apply any pressure anywhere, didn't do anything, and just quickly fell off. And I can't feel, but that's the same situation happening out for Puppey right now.
This is around the time where I thought Secret would want to really start taking over the map, invade the Radiant jungle, try and take a tower down early, shut down all the farming patterns. But Arteezy is farming freely in the woods for now. Crit looks like he's headed back to the woods, already hit level 5. Universe uncontested in the top lane, closing in on his Midas, has the gold now for it. Sumail having a whale of a time in the mid lane, so just still trying to find really even that first slight crack of an opening, and they just can't seem to do it. And in fact, they might not get one now, as EG are showing signs of a 5-man rotation towards the top lane. the warding has been impeccable. I mean, you mentioned the one ward bottom. They might be able to get Sumail here, though. This could be huge. He's a bit isolated from his team. The lone cow could be punished. Charging for Puppy, gets the bash, needs a little bit more. Kunkka coming in with the torrent as well, trying to lock him down. They need that shaker. He walks back in. He gets up the echo. He gets up the totem. He's gonna kill MidOne. Oh, not good. Not good for Secret. Stays alive. Sumail, the cojones on this one. That is painful, Lumi.
Dude, the man up. Like, he knew he was going to die if he tries to run anyway, so might as well fight for his teammates available. Zai, to me, MVP so far at every single fight to just counter-initiate. Man, you said yesterday we need, what is that, the Spidey Sense Award for players?
Yeah, we were joking, you know, like if there were new hexagons nowadays, you know, maybe one of the categories would be Spidey Senses.
And man, the Spidey Sense on Zai.
EG's like you know, their MMR might be a little bit lower than Liquid's, but right now I'm feeling like their Spidey Senses is pretty
on top of things, for sure. Yeah. So
they do seem to have Secret figured out a little bit this game. Like the warding position has been perfect, the rotations have been on point, and they're also out farming them all the while. So.
Middle, we're gonna see Yaphets on the run here. Charge is gonna come through here from Puppy. It looks like he will be fine. And this goes back to something I mentioned during the drafting stage. Now, as a mid-game approaches, you're seeing a level 6 Kunkka, barely going to pick it up, and then a level 4 Spirit Breaker. These two supports really want to be like 7 or 8 by this point, or soon after.
They want to have a kill.
Yeah,
like
they want to get something done.
You don't pick Clinks and Weaver as your cores and Spirit Breaker Kunkka with the Darkseer to not have kills, but finally they'll get one. Universe taken down top. There's an early hood pickup here for Kezu, and there's a lot of magic damage on EG.
For sure.
And the silver lining for Secret is that while all these shenanigans were happening up towards the top side of the map, they did finally take that bottom tower. That to me is actually extremely important. These outer towers, probably more so than the kills, cutting down on where EG feels safe to farm when they have 5 heroes that are great at it is a huge way to limit their economy heading into the mid game.
I think taking the mid tower would be more important to the point that you made. If you could invade their jungle with the mid tower down, that's much better. But beggars can't be choosers. They are down, and maybe one thing that Kling's lineups can do is you could just backdoor tier 1 towers. Your damage output is so high. Maybe not with the level 1 strafe, but maybe in a couple of minutes he could start thinking about that.
It's gonna go back for Midas here. So MidOne not trying to rush the Desolator, got the casual medallion. It's the value damage / potentially Roche item if they have a really decisive team fight. But the key for Clinks has always been stay off the map. You know, constantly farm the jungle, be a threat to gank, try and force your opponents by your absence to clump up, to farm less freely. And MidOne definitely doing a good job of that right now.
Oh, I think.
But you also have to balance that with, you know, actually getting some farm. You can't just constantly not be farming and off the map.
Look at the 3 hits, chunking crit down. The charge is going to get canceled. I think that was a miscommunication from Secret.
Puppy was charging, and now the Blink Dagger reveal. Echo comes in, but that Clink's pretty tanky. Not the easiest takedown, and will be alive. Yaps are there to break the lasso. Nicely played, and now trying to run away. The charge through. Puppy pile drives crit back. Just leave my pesky Bone Fletcher away, he says. But no, Spirit Breaker going to go down here. As Sumail comes in for round 2. Fisher's there, it traps in MidOne, almost but not completely. He squirms away. Clinks has been losing weight, what little he has left. And now Zai low in the river, but EG only losing the bat as a trade for the Spirit Breaker. That was the Blink debut. Could have been worse, and you know, I think does showcase one of Clinks' strengths, that he has a deceptively tanky core.
He also had the bow buff on him, which made him super tanky. Oh. First kind of slight victory here for Team Secret. Although did not get any towers or objectives out of that. And that's going to be the game plan for Secret for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Get a small kill here and there, pressure towers. Because we know the economy game for EG is just much better. They got the Enigma, they got the Midas running. He's approaching to level 15.
Oh,
top gank.
Look at MidOne. Guardian MP here. There's a top gank.
Yeah.
We'll take down Puppy. Constantly trying to deal with this Batrider, and his persistence pays off. Gets the kill. That might be the mid tower. That would be huge. He's going to Trelay into it now. Strafe not available. Already used it for the kill. But those Searing Arrows do quite a bit of work. EG, have to imagine, will be coming straight down to defend this. They're walking through a scan, though. They were clipped by it. It's a Secret. Should know this is coming. They back away. They look for the reset. MidOne using that medallion to help him farm Ancients.
Once again, I think we're gonna set up a gank here for on Kezu up top. No shapeshift this time.
Sumail does not have Echo yet. He's going to try to start with an Enchant Totem. Fissure comes through, hits the Darkseer. That's not the target he wants. Now the Enchant Totem back on the Spirit Breaker, but I think the jig is up, and Sumail wants to get the hell out of dodge. Still, though, tanking some Searing Arrows, dropping low. He's still extremely durable, but pulled back into the vacuum. The boat, the pain for EG as they lose 2 critical teamfight heroes.
That is the Wombo combo that we're talking about, and man.
To think I doubted it, Lumi.
Yeah, Yapzor has been on point. As soon as he got that level 4 X marks a spot, it's just X non-stop, and it's just beautiful for these kind of small skirmish. We do see MidOne backdooring the tier 1 as Puppey pushes crit away.
It is really, so much of the game is about this tower and that tower top. Taking those down opens the way to Roshan.
Yep.
It allows them to invade EG's jungle. Like that is, if you were writing a script for Secret, those would be the 2 most important things, the Roshan and these tier 1s, mid and top.
We're gonna see that fight one more time, and look at the beauty that is the vacuum torrent boat combo. You used to make highlight videos, or we're not gonna watch that anymore because there's a fight in the river as we have Batrider getting cleaned up.
Crit is getting punished a lot. He's been, you know, running around on his own, trying to be that, you know, roving X factor that can set up ganks or at least assist his teammates when they're being dove. But it's tough to get away with that against the Clinks. MidOne's constantly tracking him in the river.
Clinks in a Spirit Breaker.
He's also setting up vision for the charges, so it's a nice little synergy between these 2 heroes that Secret have been able to exploit.
I mean, he's playing on the Batrider, but assume he's kind of on like a Crystal Maiden or Vengro, right? Like, you're just playing the 5, you're trying to ward and create space for your team, and that's going to happen against these 2 very aggressive roamers.
As you can see, MidOne again charging. Zai is the next to be caught out, and this is where having those towers down is oh so sweet.
But he's charging through a ward, so Zai is aware of the situation.
But doesn't matter. MP's going to get onto him. No teleport scroll on Zai. This could be trouble even without the Spirit Breaker actually connecting. One Searing Arrow, almost half his health down. MP wants to chase. He's committing for this. It's going to take a couple volleys of auto attacks to get the job done. He time lapses out. Not quite in time.
Meanwhile,
and now MP in danger. He's on the run.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker charged through an entirety of EG, so he just died, and now they're going to try to cut down EG. What a visual block! Traps MP in. Sccc's down, no time lapse, and he's going to get burned down. Vacuum Bolt, Torn, huge Echo Slam to take down the Weaver. The Bolt's going to come in. They will take down Arteezy as a trade. Can they get a little bit more? Yapzor getting in position here for more X.
Looks for the X.
Glimmers himself, finds the X here on Sumail, and will connect the Torrent.
Universe does have Black Hole along with the Blink. Secret got to be careful not to group up. Yapzor sitting back, wants to interrupt, and it is just in time. He is able to do so now. Jumping forward, Puppey commits onto Sumail. Sumail's in trouble being overrun. EG's position has been completely compromised. 3 down.
Wait, how did that Black Hole cancel?
I believe it was Yapzor just quickly...
no, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything?
Yeah, I think he saw Yapzor. Was like, okay, well, there must be a torrent coming, but there wasn't anything, so he canceled it himself, because the X-Torrent came after the Black Hole got canceled onto the other targets.
Well,
now, granted...
We'll see if we have a chance for a replay here, but either way, the push is on. Secret working on the tier 2 tower. They're going to take this down. The way to Roshan is certainly looking a lot more open now. The Desolator under construction momentarily for MidOne.
Oh, we're going to get the replay. X-Torrent back.
Yeah, so starts the fight on Sumail. Set this up with like a Glimmer walk-in, then Puppey gets in. The Black Hole comes through. And he just... That is a vacuum by Kezu, maybe?
It could be. You're right.
I'm not sure.
I'm not... There's a lot of purple in there, so...
Yeah, and in any case, great fight by Secret. They get some key kills. They're also not allowing EG to set up their full combo, and they're taking these early scrappy fights. That is what you want to be doing if you're in their position.
And they're getting objective off of these fights, which is important for Secret. Again, they cannot play on the back foot. EG's got the better late game. They got the better scaling hero. And for now, Secret should start to look at Roshan. Keep in mind, they do have the medallion on MidOne, and they have nothing but burst physical damage. So Rosh would be very easy.
EG trying to calm down here, reset for the next fight. But the vision is starting to become a problem for them, as constantly Secret know when EG are off in the jungle farming, and the greed is being punished. Charging for a Puppey, looks for the lockdown, trying to cage the wolf, pumping in the Searing Arrow damage. MidOne scores the kill. And Secret find another.
Yep.
This is what the draft was designed to do, just take over the jungle, not allow EG to play their farm game, not allow them to group up for fights. And so far, mostly according to script, but Lumi, with a lineup like this for EG, one fight can always change everything.
And they have, you know, a
All the
wombo
tools.
combo of their own, right? Blink Black Hole with the Epicenter on top with the Echo Slam. EG rotating up top. You'd like to see Hero port back to defend, get the quick kill and push. And guess who's porting back? It's Kazu.
Not really the hero they want to go on. With a completed pipe, a mech almost ready. Actually, Greaves not too far off. He is an extremely tanky force. Basically a walking hospital for the squad.
Interesting to see Yapzor going for the Glimmer Cape and then into a Blink Dagger. Not the item progression that you see too often, but Yapzor loves these kind of high mobility items. Has been pretty much chewing on all the tomes as well.
Yeah, he's got, at this point, all of his key abilities fully leveled up. Max Torrent, Max X, 2 points in the boat.
Also the Torrent talent. Normally you see some of the greedier Kunkka going for the physical damage talent, so you could just neutral a little bit better, but...
That's playing into EG's hands, right?
Yeah, I
you don't want to be spending too much time farming.
Yeah, like we've been mentioning, you know, they live and die by their skirmishes. They win those fights and get objectives. Surprised to see that Secret hasn't made a Roche attempt just yet. Maybe they're thinking about taking the mid tier 2 first, and then go back for it.
Yeah, it's scary to walk into the pit. Even with the towers being down, EG are so good at fighting in those claustrophobic areas. So Secret instead, they'll smoke. They'll look for an opening, but EG are playing this one safe. They tuck back behind their tier 2s.
They go for the Roche now, but Lycan has a wolf in it. Arteezy on point here with his micro.
This is why in bygone days, teams always bought a gem.
And EG immediately
try and
smoke
deal
up.
with Lycan.
Puppey breaks the smoke though. Here we go.
Zai's in first, he gets the burrow. It's only on one, and not really the easiest target to take down, with Kezu having the mech, having the pipe, and the arrows come blazing in, taking out Zai quickly. Arteezy tries to man fight, but that's not gonna happen until Universe is there. The X was already committed, the vacuum though is there to cancel the black hole, and now Secret are on the warpath. They're gonna turn for crit, they look to bring him down. Big commitment from Sunel, the totem will end MP. Still though, MidOne stays alive. A 3 for 2, and it's with all the ults expended. They might lose Sumail.
Oh.
2 more auto techs. Yapzor,
He's got X
not
again.
giving up the ghost yet. On the
wait.
chase, he didn't quite get it off in time.
He had a vision, he had a ward. I'm not sure what happened there.
I think he was mid-cast animation.
Yeah,
and
and
he
he
just
just
blinked
blinked
out
away.
in time. So it was truly a game of seconds there.
Well,
But they expended a lot of ults, and they did not win the fight. Round 2 at the Roche Pit should certainly be Secret favorite.
yeah, Secret, MidOne is going to def pack a big creep now. He's going to get a ton more HP. They're going to walk right back into it, pop the shrine along. I don't think EG could challenge it a second time. We're going to see that team fight one more time. The boat came out before the black hole did, so even though the black hole looked pretty good for half a second, nobody was losing any HP because of the boat buff. And Arteezy was just taking way too much physical damage. The X and the vacuum dealing with Universe.
Yeah, Kezu really came out big in that fight as well. Also, they initiated on the Darkseer with a pipe and Greaves. Like, that is not the best hero to start the fight on. EG still want to contest this, though, but Zai will be ushered away. Puppey's there with the charge. No siree, he says. Gets the bashes. Now the boat coming in.
Ooh.
Actually connects on Zai. The Urn's there as well, but he's going to shrine up. Gets back to safety. And I think this has probably been one of the most interesting developments to me over the last 6 months is that no team gives up Roche for free nowadays at TI. Like, even if they're down 10, 15k gold, unless they are physically being pushed away from the pit, there's always someone with a Blink Dagger or Storm or another mobility here who's like trying to sneak in, especially if they're support. And like, even if they probably die 9 times out of 10, that 1 out of 10 where they snatch the Aegis, teams have decided it's worth the risk.
For any game that is like close in contention, that's definitely the case. I remember we were casting the Cloud9 game yesterday. They were down by like 20k. They gave up the Roche. they weren't fighting that one, but
We didn't cast Cloud9 yesterday, did we?
yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah. Cloud9.
Or was it maybe the day before?
Yeah, I think it was the day before.
Okay. But I completely agree with you. Like, you don't give up Roche for free, especially the second one, giving the cheese. How many times have we seen like a Roshan being done by one team, and then the other team steals the Aegis and cheese, and the game just completely turns on that point? So, meanwhile, we got some Necro books being farmed on the mid lane.
So let's take a step back here. It's a moderate lead for Secret. They just got their prized Roshan. They denied EG. Overall game plan for Secret. Is there a timer on this team? What's their next objective? If they like had a script for how this game should play out from here, what would it be?
It's the same script. It's the same kind of fight, and you just keep bringing it to EG. You don't give them any breathing room. Your lineup is designed to apply pressure. I talked about Spirit Breaker as a pressure hero early on, and you just keep going. The Deso would help you take the objective on MidOne, and they will likely finish the BKB first on Klings, and then start to try to finish the game. Whereas if you're EG fan, even though the game is currently not looking so well here for them, they still maintain high ground. They still maintain one of the best high ground defense with the BKB Black Hole, with the Bat Rider, and the Sand King. So I think both teams have a lot of ways to play the remainder of the game still.
MidOne banging on the front door as he lays into this tier 2. You can see Zai is trying to do his best split pushing job here top, but he is being charged by Puppey. He might not actually be able to TP out. It looks like he's in a lot of trouble as the sentry gets deployed. They're going to nether strike him back. Yapzor's still in position. The damage is not the best from these two, but they slowly work the Scorpion down. He burrows again in the tree. Meanwhile, in the river, the real fight breaking out as they've tried to get the power play going here. But EG, though, still losing their Enigma pretty early in the fight. Big commitment already. They dive MP. He scurries away. The Wolf's time is being wasted, and his ult's about to end as Puppey sees opportunity. Charging in, gets denied by the Fissure, but MidOne with the cleanup. You know, EG are like, we have this 4v3 in the river, let's go fight, but Secret are just too tanky and too elusive to consistently wrangle them. And not to mention, even if you do, they're usually not dying.
Yeah. I think the big problem that Enigma currently is facing is that, you know, when you see Enigma being picked, you're always like, okay, Black Hole, how's it going to get canceled? How many stuns can I BKB off? Things like that. But the other kind of more barbaric way to cancel Black Hole is just to kill them. And MidOne is like, okay, every time I'm going to put my medallion on you, I'm going to strafe you, and you're going to just die. So Enigma normally likes to build things like Octarine and things like that, and he has one on Quick Buy, but I think maybe a plate mail into Shiva's Guard is perhaps more effective for a game like this.
I think what we're also seeing is just how integral the Darkseer and the way he's itemized has been to this game. Like, Kezu alone actually really punishes this 5-man combo with the Greaves, with the Pipe, and also just with the Darkseer's nature as a hero, the vacuum in the wall, excellent crowd control, and honestly, it makes it so that like EG is trying to play their game, and their game is not necessarily even that favorable for them.
Yeah,
he is like the one-man antidote to that combo.
It also helps that,
at least for now,
it also helps that EG is initiating onto the Darkseer on these fights, as opposed to, you know, on the other guys and try to kill them quick. But it's like, it's hard either way, right? Because if you don't kill the Darkseer, then he just mechs and pipes the rest of the team. So it's.
You mentioned the Necrobook. We haven't really had a whole lot of time to breathe the last couple minutes, but I wanted to get your thoughts because the build nowadays for most Legged players, as MidOne tries to set up here on Zai, might be able to quickly kill off the Sand Kid. He is on the chase. The charge comes through. The Burrow Strike committed, so no way to interrupt this. They're going to pull him back with the X. The Torrent marks his demise. But yeah, this Necrobook build has really fallen off in popularity. It's all about Armlet Mask of Madness. So do you like the build? Curious why Arteezy went for it this game.
I mean, there's two Invis heroes on the other side. Just having the ability to have that detection always in team fights is quite good. But I do agree with you. I think the Mask of Madness Armlet build plays better when you're ahead. The Necrobook, I don't know, it just feels so weak, especially when you're behind like this.
It's obviously you're up against a Weaver and a Clinks, right? So that minus armor can be extra brutal. If you're running in and they're just hitting you with a Deso, a Medallion, like you're melting probably. But
X.
On the flip side, the Necrobook minions also seem to be getting crushed.
Yep.
Clinks is happy to chew those up.
Yapzor has been missing a lot of his Expose combo, and now
he has a BKB, though. They've got to completely change on him. The vacuum interrupts, and now MidOne can turn if he needs to. Zai's low, the Swarm hits him, and now Universe comes in. Decent hero, Black Hole. Yapzor doesn't have a whole lot to deal with this, but the Clinks is just dishing out damage into it. Still, though, the team's getting overrun. Still is not BKB'd. MidOne's now lassoed and controlled. BKB finally comes out, but it only marks his tomb. Now Yapzor on the run. Oh, Secret. Not respecting the EG combo. They're going to lose a fourth as the Kunkka gets picked off to climactically end the fight.
Yeah, Clinks got pushed away, and he didn't activate his early BKB. It made sense there because even if he activated BKB and went in a fight, Universe was waiting for the Black Hole. So good patience by MidOne to wait out the Black Hole. But unfortunately, he didn't have enough damage to kill the Enigma. Enigma came in with full HP. We're gonna watch that fight one more time as MidOne is just getting heavily pressured. He walks away, could easily activate the BKB here, but keeps on walking away because he knows that Enigma is coming in with a black hole. He waits out the black hole and then tries to kill him, but not enough damage. And great fissure here from the Shaker to break out his damage. I think had he activated the BKB to kill the Enigma, maybe that fight would have turned a little bit differently, but the rest of EG was coming in fast and hot.
I mean, I think you at least give it a shot. You know,
Yeah,
maybe it turns out
sure.
it's not enough damage and you still lose the fight, but you don't go for this item to like save it for a rainy day. Those are the crucial fights that can decide the game.
And
so.
he used it right before he died. That was a 10-second BKB, so
Yeah.
that was
Definitely unfortunate for MidOne, but Secret, well, what was once that 4K gold lead that they scrapped and clawed to achieve, now basically a dead even game, and they'll have to reset. And we do see, you know, that's a fight where, well, it is hard to deal with the black hole now that Enigma's BKB. They've been able to cancel it pretty quickly in 2 fights, but nothing really, unless somehow the Spirit Breaker can get a charge in.
right. Or Nether Strike again, like I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. Do you think that that's how this game's gonna come down to? It's just like how good are the black holes, how long he could channel it for?
Secret are hoping that they could play it in such a way that it doesn't, but I think
It kind of feels like
when
it
you've
does,
got
right?
veteran hands like Universes on the Enigma,
Yeah.
it seems relatively unlikely he completely airballs those black holes. So I think it will certainly be one of the crucial factors that decides this game.
So we do see Kezu going back for a Helm of the Dominator. We've seen a Darkseer, I think yesterday when we casted, went for this build. I mentioned how it's very easy to dominate a creep and then you could put the Iron Shell and then farm with it. The added benefit in this game is that you could have a creep with you all time for MidOne to actually eat. And that's pretty critical in some of these team fights when they break out suddenly. The Dominated creep also has more HP than the ones you find in the jungle.
That's a
So-
good, yeah, it seems like a really nice item synergy
Yep.
with the team's heroes.
There's like, it used to be a debate where if Klings would even build a helm for himself. Obviously, when your teammates build it for you and you just eat it, much better for the Klings.
Reminds me of, wasn't there some crazy like 90-minute game last year in the group stage where, was it MVP? I think MVP got like multiple helms of the Dominator, and then they would just like start, like if you redominate a creep, obviously you lose the old
You
one.
disassemble it,
Well,
or no, you put it down. You just put it down.
Put it down. They would buy a new
one.
Dominator, and then they would just surround the throne with like all these Dominator creeps. They were slowly building their army of the undead, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna see that this game.
I would hope.
Famous last.
I
word.
would hope we see some 90-minute games. You know, I'm always down for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, then you'll perk up. That is, Lumi's not a big coffee guy, but that is
my
his
natural coffee. Yeah,
Yes.
90-minute games.
Well, we're a third of the way there. As EG venture outside the base, they
Yo.
might be walking into.
Look at
Secret.
what Yapsor's got queued up. I know you kind of brought up as kind of like a semi-joke, but he's got Axe queued up. Have you seen those highlight reels where like the Kunkka blinks next to a team and then like bolt backwards, and then it's just like a vacuum bolt towards the team, and then likely there's a torrent waiting, there's, you know, a vacuum wall waiting. We're gonna see some highlights.
You got to put the shades on as you do that. Put your other eye patch on.
Oh, well, that would impair your vision. How about you do it first, and then as it's going, then you put the shades on.
They're gonna try to start the fight on Puppy here. Fissure comes in from Sumail. The Yule Scepter to interrupt this chain of initiation. Now the Enchant Totem comes through, but they get scared and they back away as the Black Hole's committed. But it's on a BKB. Clinks, he's not taking too much damage. They can look to turn this. Chunking down Universe. MidOne gets his vengeance. Now turning on the Batrider as well. He pressed his BKB. And Secret will deny EG here. Zai comes in late, and he'll likely be the third down if Yapsor can get him, but he doesn't have the mana. It's Puppy charging through, connects on 2. Also finding Sumail in addition to Zai. They'd love to grab additional kills, but even more than that, they would love to take this Roche. So you can see they all frantically scramble about, and then they say, yeah, let's get an Aegis.
Yep, the buyback had to be expended for that engagement. Puppy was in a great position charging back into the fight. Unfortunately, the rest of his team was on the high ground, so they could not take advantage of the fact that he was chain stunning essentially half the team by himself. Still though, Secret wins the team fight. They get Aegis and Cheese, and you know, they could kill MidOne once. I don't know if they could kill him twice. Although the second time would be easier because he likely would not have a death pack.
Or BKB.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if they can pull it off. They're down a black hole now, though. It is a pretty good time to push. However, beware the Echo Slam, which is still available for Sumail to deploy. as EG are going to tap the Shrine, try and stay in fighting shape. They now make their move, jumping onto MidOne. They want to crack him and break that Aegis early, and he will lose it. He was compromised up on the high ground. Really could have sat farther back.
Double dust flying out. They're going to try. The boat's going to rescue them, but Burrow Strike from Zai is available. They want him, and they are going to get him, lasso him back, and that is going to be killed through Aegis. And now EG, one of the best chasing team with the Lycan, they will take down Puppey as well. That is a dieback. My man, MidOne, why was he was next to the melee racks trying to hit people?
All right, well, he does actually have buyback, but yeah, that is a double death. I'm not really sure. I think just a bit over-eager. They didn't need to kill heroes, right?
Yeah.
They could have just sat back. Clinks can strafe from distance. Weaver can plink. The rest of the heroes can wait and reserve, because the one thing that could ruin them, the Blink, Black Hole, BKB, is not available.
Right.
So if they go in for a lasso, like the Darkseer can counter-initiate, the Kunkka can X you back. There's really no... You can approach that very systematically, in a very organized fashion, but they chose instead to just rush headlong into the base.
Yep.
It's kind of the nature of how you want to play with a Spirit Breaker and with these heroes outside, but I don't think it's how you approach the siege.
Not high ground, which surprises me greatly. This is a Puppey-led team. Like, this is the one point in the game where he's generally very good, you know, slapping his team a little bit. Don't go crazy, you know, systematic siege, and then this happens.
We do not encourage any physical violence.
We do not.
But
that was a metaphoric backslap, you know. It's just like, hey, make sure we don't do anything throwy. That is a huge throw, in my opinion. A game that looked like very winnable in that position.
It's only a throw if they lose, Lumi. It could be a huge throw. Okay.
I mean, now EG's got their black hole back. They got all of their spells back. Let's check if they have any smokes ready to go. Nothing on the heroes yet. I'm not sure if EG is out of smoke in their shop either. So that is going to be the next point of contention.
Is there a point where it's just like too late for Secret? Do you feel like it's at some stage of this game, EG, once they get enough items, enough levels, are just too strong in the late game? Or do you feel no matter how late this game goes that Secret's lineup always can match up?
I think Secret's definitely got at least 10 to 15 more minutes. I think once EG, if they start itemizing for some hard way to kill the Clinks, whether it's like, let's say, Abyssal Blade on Arteezy or a Hex coming out from one of these like rich EG cores, then I think that gets like super hard for MidOne and the rest of the Secret. But for now, they still have a couple of team fights left.
Secret desperately in need of a 2-0 to start the day. Still looking for that first game victory here. It's been back and forth, but for the first time in a long time, it is an EG advantage now. Up by a bit over 1,000 gold, hugging their base, playing it safe, but while most of the team is camped inside the base, you'll notice, like we saw earlier, Sand King was split pushing top. Right now, Bat Rider is deep in the dire tree line all the way to the north. So EG is always sending some sort of expedition out to keep the lanes pushed, to cut the creep waves, and to try and eke out a bit of farm. So it's not like total turtling, it's like, you know, a hybrid turtle farm strategy.
It is somewhat dangerous because, you know, we've seen Zai trying to do that earlier and then he's just charged. You know, there's a Clinks right on top of him. And speaking of Zai getting charged, that is exactly what's happening right now.
A long way to go for the smoke gank. Zai just wants to farm a wave. And he will blink out in time, but still Puppey gets in range for the Nether Stick. The Burrow gets him out to safety. Zai coming out clutch there, and now EG's turn to smoke. They'll make their move. Instant reply.
That is putting on the shades, escaping the gank. My goodness, the timing on that. All right, here we go.
Perfect.
10 out of 10.
The Wolf is leading the scouting party as it tries to get eyes on Secret. Secret have to be careful about this initiation. They don't have a gem currently, and now in comes the Fissure to start the fight. Follow up onto the Darkseer, the Echo. They commit, they hole as well, and running into it is the Spirit Breaker who can interrupt it. Universe gets off a Butte, and the Black Hole overwhelms. Now 4 have fallen, a complete rout of Secret.
And now they have enough damage to kill through the Darkseer. No pipe activation, no Grieve activation. They just changed them completely from 100 to 0. And it's EG going the other way.
Secret go on to lose this game. They're going to be kicking themselves. Missed opportunities, overextensions, mistakes that were avoidable will come back to haunt them. It's not over yet, but EG certainly want to make it so. They are barreling down mid while we watch the tail end of that fight.
Yep.
Just, again, the BKB, Blink, Black Hole, there is no real reliable reply, and 2 fights now, Universe has found an opportunity and taken it.
Yeah, Nether Strike was on cooldown. Remember they used it on Sccc earlier, just before that fight happened. So that's why Universe had no pressure whatsoever.
And at some point, he's going to have a Lincoln Sphere, you know, if he feels like he is worried about another strike, at which point...
At this point, it doesn't seem like he's even worried. He hasn't even got cancelled.
So EG, they'll take the tier 3, the way to the shrines now lies open. And they're not going to overextend. They know the Black Hole's on cooldown. They will focus on securing map control as they have a little shrine pounding party.
Now, I don't need to
Shoot
tell
off
you...
some fireworks and then get the hell out.
I don't need to tell you that why map control is good, but in particular with the context of this game, keep in mind that Secret has been getting every single Roshan up to this point. Should EG be able to challenge and tech the next Aegis, I think that goes back to your previous question is when is the hard GG? That is it, right? If EG has Aegis, I don't think Team Secret could win the fight after that. So this past 5-minute turn of events, you lose one big fight, you lose your tier 3, you lose Shrine, you lose map control. Ice Frog forbids, if they lose Roche, it is lights out for Team Secret.
Ice Frog forbids.
Well, you don't know what religion people are, but you know, we're playing Dota,
I know what religion you are.
Yeah, there you go.
You believe in the one true frog.
Give me that OS Frog, boys.
No, not the OS Frog. The OS Frog is an imposter.
Oh, okay, I see.
The OS Frog is a lesser creature. The Ice Frog is the original, the great, the pure.
You know, no amount of
Ice
flattering.
Frog giveth, and Ice Frog
no amount of
take 'em
flattering
away.
will let you cast the grand finals, right? Like you could just keep talking right now. It's just not gonna happen.
It's all about the TI8 invite Lemmy. I'm just starting my
Oh, I
campaign.
see.
I'm just starting my campaign.
Prepping ahead. I like that. I like that.
No, but EG, I think, you know, as we've kind of been touching on, we'll continue to reinforce throughout the game. There's no rush for them getting. There's plenty of key items that they could still complete. Some damage items, perhaps, for Sumail now that he's got all his utility. Zai, obviously, something like an Ags or Lotus Orb would be wonderful. Universe can get that Refresher or Lincoln Sphere. Crit, a BKB, and Force Staff eventually would be wonderful in the Bat Rider. Arteezy, some point you probably replace that Necro Book, still room for the Abyssal. There's lots of big items they can pick up, and they're in no hurry.
Yep.
Where Secret are feeling the pressure and feeling the heat.
Crit sending a beautiful spot to break any kind of smoke rotation into their jungle, and they're gonna just chill. Also, previously, EG was playing around the huge cooldown of Black Hole, but because he's got the 15% CDR talent and also the Octarine core, he's looking at a 102-second cooldown on the Black Hole, which is very respectable for such a game-changing ultimate. Also, side note, 60-second cooldown on Hanamidas. Just 10 out of 10 as well.
The cooldown reduction is such a big deal, especially when you combine it with the Octarine. Like, it's not quite every fight, but it's in those late game scenarios. Oftentimes, like, you'll have to either take a Roche and then try to push a lane, or you know, just clear all the waves, push out the side lanes, then go down mid. You know, it takes a little while to get to your ideal staging point. And by that time, a lot of time, the Black Hole's either ready or the fight can start and it'll cool down in the middle of the fight. So, you know, that 100 seconds versus like the 3 minutes is, you know, a real game changer.
I have no idea why Enigma's talents are the way that they are now. It almost should be where you get the 120 gold or the 15% CDR at level 20, and instead of 15.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that those are a little more game changing than the one Malefice instance.
Because getting the CDR at 15 means so much more, because you're gonna, the 15% CDR allows you Midas so many more times to get to the 20 and 25 and whatnot. But let's have that debate for a different day, as EG is.
We'll put our Enigma Chop Shop on hold as EG make their move through the river. Lurking on the high ground,
Arcane Reef.
Our Secret, and they were scouted by a Radiant Scan, but Yapsor's gonna jump in first, tries to bait something out. Little X shenanigans for him. Now Sumail confidently lumbering up with the Shiva's Echo initiation. He gets the party started. Zai's there to follow up. Look for the hole. He's got to find That's 3. Universe, you monster! How could you? Puppy and all his monitors are in shambles. Secret on the run, completely overwhelmed.
He didn't get the Clinks, and he was taking quite a bit of damage, but his teams backed him up. They had a disarm, they had a Yules. Clinks did not do any damage in that team fight. And with a big win, EG goes straight for the Rax's backdoor protection, be damned. They don't care, they're gonna run it over. They could go for the GG if they want. They're gonna go for the safe triple lane of Rax, or just a second lane of Rax. And this is an EG victory any way that you toss it.
Stable, patient, and deadly late game. That was the EG draft, that was the game plan, and they executed it. Wasn't flawless, and I think you look back at this game, some of those key fights in the 20 to 30 minute range where Secret had a bunch of big successes, but then a few really critical mistakes. And perhaps that also speaks a little bit to the draft, Lumi, where it's not that the draft couldn't work, but they couldn't afford to miss their windows.
Yes.
This EG lineup could make mistakes and still, you know, catch a second win, have a fresh take, and a new opportunity. Secret really didn't have too much margin for error.
Yeah, I think the Secret lineup is also, like you mentioned, just super hard to play. Much harder to play compared to EG lineup. And you make a mistake, you make 2 mistakes, that is tough. And the impossible or the improbable has happened. EG has Aegis now, so I don't know. We're gonna watch the team fight one more time and just watch Enigma slowly lumbering forward. And
but Secret like, no, no, no.
it's the max range black hole. That's when you put the shades on. You know, it's like I got all 3, all at the corner.
Also little things that helped there, like using the Clinks. He did not BKB again.
Disarming the
wouldn't have
Clinks.
mattered, to be honest. Like that black hole was gonna go off for the full duration anyway.
Yep.
But you know, just all the little details were executed quite crisply by EG.
And now he has Lincoln Sphere.
And also the other really big thing is, you know, still even now, Secret do not have, as far as I can tell, a gem. I don't know if they've had one at any point. Maybe I think they might have lost one in that fight. But it seems like the Wolves are giving them the vision. Yeah, YapzOr did lose the gem there.
Yep.
But consistently, those Wolves have been uphill around corners, giving them vision that's setting up these fights, and that is really one of the hidden attributes that makes Lycan such a strong carry when he's in the meta.
Yeah, remember when when the game just begun, all of these Spearbreaker rotation have been spotted out and countered. We were talking about how EG was playing very well with rotation. They're gonna go right into crit. Crit has himself Yules.
Black Hole is ready again, though. The combo's available. They got to be careful about this. Puppy wants to back away, but the boat comes crashing in. What will it accomplish? Really nothing. It's a bit of a fail boat as EG just popped their BKBs and rained down pain. Applause for Zai patting himself on the back. And EG hot on the chase. Secret give up. They throw in the towel. Another loss for them and a crucial one here. If they lose this game too, they are guaranteed to be no better than 8-8, and they have to then 2-0 Liquid as well as Fnatic. A very likely lower bracket berth awaits them, I think, at that point, Lumi. So trying to at least scrap a game 2 win is essential for Team Secret.
And they had it this game. They were very close at one point. They had Aegis. They were up on the high ground, and I think high ground Dota is probably the hardest part of Dota. You could get ahead, but whether you could finish or not is a different story.
Close but no cigar. The boys in blue, well, they're happy now. 6-3. We'll be back for game 2 after this.
Seen that for a while, but it is a possibility.
Who's the best hero against a PA? If you could have anyone, who's the best hero against the PA?
Good question.
Because the Ember, I think they're able to deal with what they have at the moment.
The heroes are okay against Ember.
But they need a controller against the PA. They don't have magical burst damage.
It's
so
always hard to answer those kind of questions without looking at the hero roster. It's I'm gonna
just hit the button.
Quickly have a look.
You can still watch the draft of my screen. You're fine.
Yeah.
Is this when you get your Zeus?
So generally, I think what PA struggles against is heroes that have really high spell burst in the beginning, but that also can transition into dealing physical damage later with MKB or a Silver Edge. There are a couple of like hybrid heroes of that style. A farmed Shadow Fiend can be pretty difficult to deal with. He has the raises early on and he wants to go Silver Edge. That is a good pick against PA, that type of hero.
He's available, not banned out.
Yep.
And we get a Death Prophet.
DP is actually not bad either. She has some magic damage early on with her Crypt Swarm, and the ghosts can't be evaded. So I like that pick here. I think it's also a good lane matchup against Ember. So, and it's good synergy with the Chrono. I think this was a really nice pick actually from Infamous. It also gives them the pushing that we wanted from them.
Everything.
So, looking at this, that might have been the perfect choice for this particular game. I'm very excited for this pick from Infamous. I think that shows very good understanding of what they need to do.
Did you ever watch the Neverending Story?
No.
The movie Neverending Story? That's a shame. For everyone who's listening in right now, does Keeper of the Light's horse not look like Neverending Story?
I don't know, he has
horse,
2 horses on my screen.
but with wings.
It looks like an
That
abomination.
keeps happening to you, but the Jakiro looks amazing.
I think it's because when you tab out to look at heroes or whatever, it reloads it.
Yeah, and then gives you multiples.
Oh, now I only have 1. When
Oh.
you tab out again and back in, or not tab, but just go to the menu.
PA looks so cheeky with that mask on. Like, she gives this grin when she does her taunt of just like, my swords are bigger. Like,
I love that Arcana though. I think it's really nice.
yeah, that does actually look sick. But she doesn't just have the base Arcana. There's more with
Yeah,
that.
there's more. But what I really like about the Arcana that PA has is that it's very, in a way, it's very clean. Is the best way I can explain it. Like there's really cool animations. But it's not over the top, you know, for my taste. I just think it's just the things it edits in the game and the way the hero works and the way the audio goes and the sound you get when you crit. It's like it's just clean for me. I think it's one of my favorite items in the game is the PA Arcana. It's very, very nice. All right, let's talk Dota.
Yeah.
Well, it's still Dota.
Yeah. Are we Dota?
But let's talk competitive gaming.
Okay, competitive gaming with predictions. The players will give us more time for this. So, team with the first Roshan kill. Infamous will be focusing more on towers, so I kind of lean with the PA side, going for getting Roshan earlier.
Both teams can take it. It's like strictly from a draft perspective, I would give it to Radiant, but I just think LGD are the better team, and they're gonna get it. That's the only reason.
Team who plays the most observed wards by the end of the game.
Coin toss. Who do you want?
I'll go with LGD,
All right,
just
I
because I
take
think they're still going to
Infamous.
win, because they're going to have more money. Player with the most kills at 10 minutes.
Ember. I'm getting Somnus this time. I'm not gonna make the same mistake again.
I'm going to go with Tomato.
All right.
I think Tomato's going to have the success. early
Longest
on.
kill streak.
Oh, PA.
I could definitely see PA, but at the same time, it's not the best PA game ever. I actually think Ember has a better matchup in this game than PA does.
But then PA gets like a rampage.
I'll do Ember as well. Let's go.
You do Ember?
You can do PA.
I'll go with PA. I'll go with PA.
It's more exciting if we have different choices. Okay.
It's exciting for us, but we're not helping the people at home if we're doing this. Like, we're at least giving you 2 options to choose from.
We're showing you all the wrong picks.
Well, I don't think we have a really good win rate with predictions. I think
I had
we're at 50%.
I had a 4 out of 4 game last night with Shiver.
Okay. Wow. Obviously, that's it. Yeah, you're just gonna leave me behind.
I got a 4 out of 4 and a 2 out of 4, I think. That series. That was pretty good.
All right. No invasion for Runes this time around. There is some nice aggressive vision. Not gonna block any camp up on the top. But this little sucker right here is gonna watch the LGD support of Yao moving very closely, giving King Tekka a little bit more space for his puck on the top lane. Tomato and Matthew going to team up in the mid lane.
That's a strong lane, by the way.
It's a Nyx and Ember they're up against. Is it strong enough to go against the Nyx and Ember?
Yeah, they win this lane if they play it right.
Just
Infamous's lane is very strong.
Just Shards and Siphon?
Exactly. And the Flame Guard is way too weak on level 1. Now, Mana Burn is really annoying, so I think if you're Infamous right now, you want to just go on this Ember right away, I think. Just keep him busy.
Well, Death Prophet hasn't leveled anything up just yet. Looks like they're waiting for the level 2 before they make any kind of play. Bottom lane, Acel is going to realize that he doesn't have a camp to actually stack and got blocked up by the Observer ward that 11 put on the bottom lane. So it's just a one-on-one sort of matchup until Acel can do exactly this. Stack, farm, and they are going on the mid. Victoria
Ooh,
having trouble getting out of the shards, need an extra hit up the hill. It misses as well. It wouldn't be enough to find the kill, but
that really didn't look like he could get around those shards, but there was just barely a little crack he could sneak through there.
Just suck it up, breathe it in. You'll squeeze.
This is still going Yeah, now they're both level 2 and the Ember's level 1. So he's gonna get his level 2 now, but this level 2 doesn't really do very much for Ember. The breaking point here is level 3 and especially level 5. His Flame Guard is extremely bad, so he needs to be very careful to not get out of position here. The good news for them is that Tomato has almost no mana left. I wonder why. How are the other lanes going? So Puck top is getting what he can. King Tekka is on the side here. Skilled phase shift to avoid Illuminate. Gonna get his level 2 in the tree line, and 11 bottom is 2.5. And they did open that camp that Magnus blocked, so that will be available from level 2, from minute 2. Wait, what just happened to XL? What? He was pulling, and then the creeps were just like, nope. And then he had to pull them back again. They just changed their minds. It was like, nah. I think I'd rather...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Game 2, EG versus Secret. EG now 6-3. Secret are slipping a little bit though, Lumi. They gotta win out if they want to have a realistic shot at making it out of the groups and into the upper bracket. So the draft begins. We'll get into it early. As far as adjustments here, anything that's jumping out with you for these first phase bans?
No, I felt like last game was one of those games where it wasn't determined by the picks. I felt like both teams had a very realistic chance. Team Secret had to play better. They had a harder lineup to execute. And even that, they did execute to a point where they were about to win. And then, you know, the unspeakable happened. So I think moving into Game 2, Secret should just focus on their own game plan and just try to execute a little bit better.
Yeah, they're going to mix it up here. They go for some more reliable initiation rather than the charge. It will be the Bat Rider as a first overall pick. Of course, Nyx was already removed, probably the Bat Rider's most obnoxious predator, but still, EG, they get their hands on the Void, so big team fight already secured, nice and early.
Yep.
And you never know where this Void is going. He could be mid, he could be off lane. I mean, hell, maybe Arteezy will play him one of these days.
Most likely, it's going to be an offlane universe Void, one of his best heroes. In fact,
I agree. I think especially after how that mid Void game went, they're probably just like, yeah, let's just stick with old reliable.
Ooh.
I love this though. The Pugna got second stage banned last game, I believe,
Yes.
along with Anti-Mage by Secret. So EG, they recognize if they want it, they got to get it early.
Also, Faceless Void got first phase ban last game. It seems like EG has been putting a lot of emphasis on getting Universe's hero early. If the things like Nyx and Void is banned, they go Bat. And if Bat's picked, Void is in the pool, they'll pick up Void. Now, I do want to say that I remember for EG, it's been Crit playing the Pugna. I don't know if they've been doing things a little bit differently in the international so far. I'll quickly do some data check, but do you expect this to be the core Pugna we've been seeing so many times from the other teams? Like perhaps Sumail playing it?
I don't know if I actually got to see EG playing the support Pugna. I like him core. I think he uses farm well. I think he offers a lot with levels. So I'm biased. I'm a Pugna fanboy. I would root for him to be a core hero every time, but and hell, I'd love to see Sumail play him. But
it's definitely a lot less risky.
Yeah.
Oh, they played it 2 days ago, which is day 1. So let's quickly check it out. Sumail, middle, Pugna.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's his strongest position. I just think the experience is super useful for Pugna, as well as, like, you know, it's so easy to get to the enemy tower. Like, the distance is so short that you can get lots of damage on it relatively easily compared to some of the other lanes. So that would be my preference. But, you know, I think that's the nice thing for EG is technically you're not entirely sure. It could be a Spark of Pugna, could be a mid-void, probably not. But you never 100% know.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I do notice about Zai's draft, and most of the other top teams draft these ways, they pick heroes that could go into multiple positions. It's almost always Sumail playing it now that I've checked a couple of replays that he has played in it, but Zai has also played it a couple of times. So, again, versatile pick.
PL was the reply from Secret, as they will ban the Illusion Destroyers, the Earthshaker, the Sand King. So I like those bans by Secret, because they can really ruin a PL's day. And with that, how good of a PL game is it? PL obviously can feast on a Pugna once he gets a Diffusal Blade.
Yes, and I think that is the primary reason they pick it up, because the Crab is such an annoying spell to... Because we saw throughout the tournament, it's been used as an offensive nuke, also a defensive save, so a lot of utility that you could have just on a Pugna, and PL says, no, we're going to shut that out of the window. Now, against Faceless Void, could be a different story. We do see some of the late game scenario where PL just goes onto the Void, burns all of his mana, and then you just get the quick kill, but that's not till much later. And now we're gonna see the EG hero that they selected a lot during day one, the Zai Elder Titan. Walks in the lanes and start stapling people with his big hammer.
Oh, the Yapsor Rubik comes out. I love watching Yapsor play Rubik. He is my new favorite Rubik player. I am unabashedly a huge fan of his Rubik, and I mean, I guess the question will be, how good of a Rubik game is it? There's some okay spells to steal.
All of Void's spells are amazing to steal.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I don't know how often he'll get to steal Chrono. Generally, Void tend to prioritize the Rubik fairly heavily if they're worried about it.
That's true. It's the way that Void normally plays. He time walks in Chrono, and if you're worried about getting a steal, you could just use the time dilation
right
after.
away.
Yeah.
I don't think it's with the new Void. I don't think it's as easy to steal as it used to be when he had 2 abilities and 2 passives.
Right. And also, Elder Titan spells are kind of awkward to steal. Like you could, I don't know, steal a spirit, but then what are you gonna really do with that spirit? And we're gonna see Mirana as well. Now, normally Sumail plays.
So that's a Yeah, actually, how is it being played? Because normally it is Sumail and the Mirana.
I mean, I'm sure Arteezy could also play it.
It could be an Arteezy Pugna. We have seen a little safe lane Pugna here and there. I wouldn't rule it out.
I'm still leaning on a Pugna mid and a Mirana safe lane.
Could be a Mirana support.
Sure.
Technically.
That is how drafts goes these days. You just don't know until the very end. In fact, sometimes you don't even know once you see all 5 heroes. As last game, they were swapping in and out. And
who are you rooting for in the Arcana battle, Lumi?
I honestly don't care either way. I really love both of the heroes. I play both of the heroes.
I was rooting for Sniper.
Dirty, ho ho ha ha. I'm glad he didn't win.
He's just got the best voice, the best voice work for me in the game. So many just incredibly obnoxious lines that always come out at the most chafing possible moment for your opponents. It's perfect for pissing people off. Like, you guys think the chat wheel's good. Sniper was the early beta of the chat wheel. Like, his entire voice, all his voice lines.
I see. I'm a fan of the Luna voice work, selling some mayonnaise, getting in there. Team Secret looking for likely a carry and a secondary support. I'm assuming the PL is going mid, but obviously that could, be up in the air as well.
Whenever someone says Luna, I just think of how Toby says it. Lunar.
Lunar.
Tober.
Doter.
Doter. Triggered.
All right, now you're getting me a little trigger right now. Let's
Secreter. Evil geniuses. Okay, let's stop. Marauder. Yeah. So 4th pick. What does Secret need here? Let's see. It's a Riki. All right.
Well, right from the get-go, you get some very good ganks versus heroes like Faceless Void and Mirana. Prevent that initial ability or the escape ability from coming out. We haven't seen a Riki for a while, I want to say. At least not any successful ones. I think Infamous has run it recently in the tournament.
So, when you look at Riki, why Riki over Tree, or I guess the other one that we saw 2 days ago was Bounty Hunter?
They want to apply pressure in the laning stage and force kills. Tree and Bounty, these are heroes that could help you harass, but they are not going to be able to kill Faceless Void and Mirana. That is the primary advantage that you get from Riki. Also, Riki allows you to ward much easier in the lanes. And you could sneak some. When you have Riki on your team, you could ward some crazy wards. Like, for example, if you want to ward their base during a high ground siege, you can't do that with any hero, because as soon as you plop down the ward, they will see you doing it. With Riki, you could do that anytime you want. So, just slightly small edges here and there, but mostly for the ganks on Void and Mirana.
The Smoke Cloud is also quite strong against Pugna in particular, I think. You mentioned it could be good against Void. Pugnas do not normally want to build an early BKB or a Yules or even a Force Staff. Like, they want to get Aether Lens, they want to get Ags, they want to get BOTs. Maybe at that point they go into a BKB. So I think there's a pretty long window where the Riki Cloud can really punish the Pugna.